everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just kind of wanted to get on here because I've actually been going through a little bit of some trouble with my soon-to-be ex-husband. And it kind of worries me because the issue was that he created several fake accounts and emails to try and contact me, and every time I would tell him to leave me alone, he didn't. He would continue, to find a way, and even after filing a police report to that effect, harassment, still texted me. Anyways, I actually signed the police report probably, I want to say between 2.5 and 3.5 weeks ago, and it bothers me because it's been so long since I've signed this paperwork for him to be picked up. And granted, he does not live in the county that I live in, so another county would have to be responsible for picking him up. And from what I'm told, they've made several attempts but have been unsuccessful. So I believe he's trying to hide. Either way, got wind that he is unable to work at this time due to the warrant that's out for his arrest. But this is my issue with it. Like, I hate to bug him to get him, but anytime I leave the house, I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm worried that I'm going to see his vehicle out, or he's going to see mine, and he's going to, follow me or run me off the road, or, he's threatened to I'm not even sure how to word that. It basically comes down to he was never going to get a divorce again. He'd been married 2 times previously. Said that he and I would only end if one of us was dead. So take that for what it's worth. But this is why women don't come forward when things happen to them, when people, and in my case, it wasn't really physical. I mean, there was one time where he kind of like backhanded, and the tips of his fingers hit me. And then he knew that he was wrong for it. He knew that he could get in trouble for it. So he kind of went back through the house and scratched his neck and threatened to call the cops on me. So that, along with all of the emotional and verbal, I was so beat down. I made so many excuses for everybody. I barely hung out with my family and my friends. And it was always, everything was consumed by him. And when he finally got tired of one person, which was before we even got married, he decided to venture out with other women and expected me not to ever find out, I assume. But he made mistakes. I found out, confronted him. He basically told me that I was, reading into things, that that's not what it was, and I was just acting crazy. And it was, I was not allowed to talk to any males, family included. It was always an argument if I spoke to, say, my cousins. I could not talk to male friends, and there were a few of my female friends that the only reason why he was cool with me talking to them is because he thought that when things got rough between he and I, that he could go to them and sweet talk them into thinking that he was this great guy and I was just being a bitch. And little did he know that, these friends are friends that I talk to on a consistent basis, so they kind of knew what was going on anyway. But all of the verbal and the emotional beating that he did. And I would love to say that I'm not afraid of him. And in a sense, I'm not. You know, I left. I got out. You know, he told me, you know, I don't love you. Get the fuck out of my house. So I packed up my things. I packed up my son's things, and I left while he was at work because he told me on the phone that I could get a bag of clothes for the night and get out of his house, and we could just figure the rest of it out later. But of course I wasn't going to do that. But it was just really, really hard to wrap my brain around a lot of it, because here was this person that came to me at a time where I was, you know, I was low. I had come out of a relationship that was not a very healthy one either, and apparently that's a pattern. So Mama's gonna be single for a little while. But anyways, and he was everything that no one else had been. Everything. You know, he was kind, and he cared, and he was nurturing, and I mean, he was great. And you know, I kind of fed into it. You know, that was something that I'd never really experienced before, and it was a really, really good feeling to find someone who was excited and happy that I was in their life. And you know, it, looking back, that in itself is a red flag. You know, I mean, and not, let me backtrack. Some of the things, a lot of things that he did and said were red flags that I should have noticed, like, hey, too good to be true, not just that this is a good person and this is the relationship that I have been waiting for, because it wasn't. And he kept that up for a good 6 to 8 months, I believe, before things started to hit the fan while we were dating, and I ended up leaving him. And about 3 months after that, he started messaging me and calling me and begging me to come back, that he couldn't live without me, and he loved me, and you know, we would make everything great like when we first got together. And of course my dumbass believed it and got back with him. And it wasn't just for him. I mean, I loved him. I loved his son, his stepdaughter, you know, and me, my son, and all of us as a family. It was, I loved it. And so I went back, and about a year later we got married. And I found out about 2 months after we got married that the whole time we were planning our wedding, he was cheating on me with a girl he worked with, that he had dated previously. Had no idea. Not a clue that it was going on. You know, he was less attentive, didn't really, you know, care as much, and I guess that should have been a telltale sign. But my dumb ass, again, was a little blind to it. And when I found it, I couldn't even read all of it. So to be honest with you, I don't even know how far it went. He denies that he slept with her, but from what I hear, that's not the case. Anyways, and so it got to the point in the end where he would say things like, I don't know why I'm married to you. I don't know why, you know, I'm staying with you. I'm never happy to come home. I'd rather work, you know, overtime than come home to you. And, you know, basically refusing for us to do things together. He always wanted alone time. He made a 20-minute ride to the grocery store to get wings into a 2-hour trip and ignored my phone calls. And that's kind of when it set in, and I really realized that, yeah, he's really fucking around. And lo and behold, it was one of the, and I'd like to refrain from calling this woman a terrible name, even though she and I actually exchanged a little bit of words. I'd kind of like to stay above it on that one, you know. I mean, there's no telling what she was told, and I'm sure he made sure to twist things so that she would believe his version of what happened. He's very good at that. Good friend. I mean, he's got friends, good people, and he's good to them, and that's crazy to me because he was so horrible to me, and I will never understand that. But as soon as I left, he's jumping on every dating site he can think of, going and buying panties and videos from women online, and I mean, just everything he can think of. He called and texted my son's father so that he could try to get my son taken away from me. I'm not sure what his reasoning was behind it, but he tried. And of course, my son's father and I would love to call her his wife, but I don't believe they're married yet. But anyways, his dad's woman, which I adore, by the way. They're both good people, and they knew better. They know that I'm not a bad mom. I mean, Ian's a child who has ADHD and OCD, and he's got oppositional defiant disorder, and we've just recently figured out there's some sort of either mood disorder or what they would consider the high functioning autism, Asperger's, but I believe it's just all autism spectrum. So he's got quite a bit going on. So he's tough to parent, really tough. It's a struggle every day. But even with that, I'm still not a bad mother. I'm not perfect by any means. Oh God, please don't get me wrong there. I'm far from perfect. But I love my son, and I will do absolutely everything that I can and have been trying to, to make sure that he grows up a decent person and gets, everything out of life that he can. And but that wasn't a success, and he made stabs at my best friend trying to make her life difficult. He's reached out to my sister and tried to fill her full of whatever crap he can think of, threatening that I'm doing things I shouldn't do, and she should keep her kids away from me. And I'm someone who rarely drinks. I don't do drugs. I don't party. The only reason why I'm out at 12:30 is because I went to a friend's house to babysit her 3 girls so that her and her husband could have a date night. Been separated for quite a little while now, and he hired an attorney to do our divorce. Feels as though he doesn't owe me a damn thing, even though he called the bank to tell them I lost my debit card so that I had no access to any money whatsoever, and expected to file on the insurance, where after I left I was in the hospital for surgery, and then again for some freak reaction to God knows what. And then my son has been in the hospital twice, and we had some kind of supplemental insurance, and he wanted me to allow him to file that on the insurance and get half of the money off of it. Along with many other things that I just don't understand how he could possibly think makes any sense to anyone. Half of the water bill for every month I live there, half of the, trash bill, which, by the way, I paid both of those the majority of the time that I was there, half the light bill, car insurance, which his car insurance went down when we got married and I was added to, me and my car were added to his policy, so not real sure what he expected to get out of that either. But all of these crazy things, when the freak allergic reaction thing happened, I'm sitting in the ER and he's mad because I didn't buy him any Christmas presents. Well, actually, I bought some things that I wanted to give to him. I couldn't afford to buy them. I put them on a credit card, and when I left, my stuff. I ended up returning them. I wasn't ever going to see him again. And I damn sure wasn't fixing to give somebody who told me that he didn't love me, get the fuck out of his house, Christmas presents. But was also mad because he can't ever find anything. It could be sitting in front of his face and he can't find it. So there was a jacket that he supposedly bought for his son, which when we bought it was bought for my son because my son is younger than his. My son is in a size 10-12. His son is in a 12-14. 12-14, 14-16 kind of deal. And because the jacket was a 10-12, my son was the one that would be able to wear it. But I don't know where this jacket is. But as I'm sitting in the hospital, you know, my hand is swollen. There's welts all over me. And, you know, it's getting hard to breathe. I mean, it was awful. I actually have an EpiPen from that now, so that I have to carry with me. A little scary, but, you know. But as I'm sitting there in the ER, you know, he asks me where this jacket is, and I tell him, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you did with the jacket. You had it in a bag in the truck, I think, or maybe he brought it. I don't know what he did with it. And he said that I must know where it is or whatever. And, you know, I just kind of back at it with the no, I don't know where it is. And, you know, I wasn't even done wrapping Christmas presents. I wrapped the Christmas presents for our 2 boys and the majority of them anyhow. And I left all of my stepson's Christmas presents there because why would I take his Christmas presents? That makes no sense. You know, he's not the reason why his dad is a piece of shit. But anyways, when I told him I didn't know, his response was, I hope you die, you fucking cunt, and I hope it's long and miserable. So I just, to all the women who have dealt with someone that does these kind of things, that says these kind of things, I just want to tell you, like, you can get out, you can do so much better. Like, with everything that's going on with my son's health, I can't work a regular job, and I absolutely hate that. I really wish that, you know, things would kind of level out with that and I could get something more consistent than what I'm doing. I actually sell AVON and COLORSTREET nails, and I will actually link my websites down below for anyone who would like to go onto my website and order anything to help support us. And I also have a VIP group on Facebook for the COLORSTREET nails, and a Facebook page for my AVON business, and I can link all that down below as well. But we're much better off than we were with him. Though financially, things aren't working too great for us, but, you know, things happen, and, you know, we've gotten through so much, and you can too. Get out. Don't ever let somebody make you feel that way, and don't ever feel like just because they've made you feel that way and because they've beaten you down so much and so far and for so long, and oh, but the kids, and, you know, I don't have a job and I don't have anything, you know, it doesn't matter. Get out. There's no reason for you to live a life like that, ever. And if life has taught me anything, it's that life is too fucking short to be with someone who makes you feel like shit, who makes you feel like you're nothing. I remember one fight we had, and I was crying at, you know, just bawling my eyes out and trying to talk to him, and I begging him, like, what can I do? What can make this better? Like, what can I do, you know, to make things get better for us? And his response to that was, I don't know. I don't believe anything that you're going to do is going to be good enough. So, and he's right. Nothing that I was ever going to do was going to be good enough for him. But that's because he's not the person I'm supposed to be with. I'll find that person eventually, and I don't know when that'll be. I'm a little ruined on relationships and people in general, but I'll eventually get there. And, you know, like I said, me and my son are so much better off. You know, I'm spending a lot of time with my family. That's like a huge, huge blessing for me. I absolutely adore my family, and I don't think that I could have made it as long as I have, you know, cold turkey away from that man, if it weren't for my family. So, if you guys are watching, I love you. And I guess I'll leave it there. Just the whole situation with the legal system, you know, taking so long, and women being scared because, you know, and even once they pick them up and they bail out, you know, and then you have a court date set, but even at that point, there's just paperwork between you, and if that person decides to turn into a psycho or go psycho, because they already are, and fly off the handle and try to shoot you, because, you know, I've been sitting in my living room at times late at night. You know, I have insomnia, so there are a lot of nights where I can't sleep, and I just feel so scared that he's driving by the house and he's just gonna drive by one day and start shooting in the windows, and it's an awful, awful feeling. And looking over my shoulder every time I drive somewhere, and I actually passed his vehicle today for the first time since I left, and it was terrifying. You know, I couldn't breathe for a minute. You know, I had to consciously realize, oh shit, I'm not fucking breathing. I need to catch myself and get shit right. But I did, and I was okay. And one day at a time, you know. But I'm gonna leave it here. I just got home. Gonna go inside, watch some TV. My niece is still awake. My teenager niece. So probably gonna watch a little bit of TV or something with her and chill out for a little while and enjoy the Mother's Day weekend, celebrating my mom and my sisters and then my grandmother. So you guys have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there, and see you next time.